Welcome to Summarize Science, where we dive into the latest research to help you understand the tech-filled world around us. Today we are looking at a provocative paper titled Humanwashing. It should leave you feeling dirty. The researchers examine the common phrase human in the loop and why it might be extremely misleading. This term is often used by AI developers to suggest that a system is safe because a human is overseeing it. However, the authors argue that in many modern AI systems, this oversight is either insufficient or practically meaningless. Just having a person involved doesn't automatically fix issues like bias or misinformation. The background of this issue is a push across Europe and the UK to unleash AI for economic growth. Regulations like the EU AI Act require human oversight, but the legal definitions of what that actually means are still very fuzzy. Authorities are keen to drive innovation, but this can lead to a lack of clarity in how systems are actually controlled. The researchers point out that some regulations only apply to systems that are solely automated. This creates an incentive for companies to add a nominal human role just to avoid strict rules and legal protections like the GDPR. This creates a loophole that allows agencies to use flawed algorithms while avoiding responsibility for any resulting harm. Interestingly, the paper cites studies showing that human-AI combinations sometimes perform significantly worse than the best of either humans or AI alone. In some cases, when an AI outperforms a human, the combination actually loses performance because the interaction is so complex. This suggests that putting a human in the loop doesn't always improve the outcome. The authors introduce the term humanwashing, which is like greenwashing, but for AI ethics. It involves using labels to put systems in the best possible light without disclosing the uncomfortable downsides or risks. It obscures both the actual processes and the real outcomes of the decision system. To understand why the loop metaphor is failing, the researchers look back at the history of control systems in aviation and robotics. You can see in this diagram how a loop originally referred to a sensor actuator circuit that could be extended to a human operator. This model worked for physical machines, but it doesn't translate well to abstract AI decision systems. In modern decision systems, there is often no actual return path where a human's input flows back to the machine in a meaningful way. The researchers argue that being in the loop often just means you are receiving information, not that you have any real control. This distinction between receiving information and actually having the power to act is often collapsed in marketing. They suggest we need to attend to the richness of the combination space, rather than just assuming a simple loop exists. This involves looking at when a human intervenes, what they are allowed to see, and whether their actions even matter. True oversight requires a much more nuanced approach to how humans and machines collaborate. Some experts have suggested flipping the metaphor to computers in the loop to center the human instead. However, the authors believe this still flattens the complexity of the process and risks reducing multidimensional interactions to a single dimension. They argue that we need to explore the nexus of humans and machines where the real diversity of processes occurs. In summary, the paper argues that we must be more skeptical whenever we hear that a human is in the loop. We need to ask if the human is there for learning or for actual decision-making, and what the evidence is for their effectiveness. If a human is present but has no evident effect on the outcome, it is likely just human washing. For the future, this means moving toward grounded accounts of what humans actually do when they use AI systems in practice. By demanding real oversight and transparency, we can ensure that AI is used responsibly and ethically in our daily lives. Don't let vague metaphors distract you from what is really going on behind the screen.